So, next fly that I'm going to try and crank out here is going to be a small steelhead fly in a black and blue variety. This is a good fly for just about anywhere around. Mainly, you know, BC, pretty much everywhere. I haven't seen many steelhead that don't eat black and blue. You know, it's a pretty popular pattern, but I'm gonna try and put one together. It's really quick, really easy, and we're gonna get after it. So hope you enjoy it, and here we go. All right, so this black and blue fly right here is gonna be around the size that I would use if I was going to, say, to BC and a couple of the rivers I fish out on the Olympic Peninsula here. This would work great. And so first thing is first is we're gonna get this to the right size. So first thing you need is a shank of some sort. You can use a hook of any type for the most part. I like a straight eye with some a little heavier wire. You know, everybody's got a different way of how they do things. You can tie these on tubes or whatever you want, but I just like to give a good ground game for this fly. So first things first, got our black thread. I'm gonna grab this black sinew intruder wire. I'm gonna fold it to where I want it to be, okay? And I'm gonna have this thing line up to where it's gonna stop right behind where my shoulder, my front shoulder is gonna start, okay? And for these flies, I mean, I'll make it as big so you can fit a size 1 owner in there. So as soon as you feel like you've got the right amount in for this piece, you can just do a couple short wraps, get this thing right to length that you want. So I like that right there. So I'm going to press that down, okay, and give a couple stern wraps, okay, and get this thing in tight. Clip this off here. Okay, now I'm just going to wrap this forward. So nice tight wraps. If you're going to wrap it loose, you might as well not even wrap it at all. I don't want this thing budging in any way, shape, or form. Okay, and just for insurance, we're going to put a little dab of glue up front here, just to kind of lock it. Okay. So this thing, I'm going to put the barbell eyes in next. Okay. We're locked and ready to go and start our next step. So go ahead and wrap all the way back to the beginning of the loop here. And so right now we're going to use this uni mylar in the blue. The other side will be copper. So when you tie this in, you want the copper side out. So when you go to wrap, all it's going to be outside is going to be that blue color that we want for our base. I love this blue color on the water. It really sticks out, and had a lot of good luck on this pattern right here. And it's pretty easy, fairly simple. Okay, next thing we're going to do is we're going to go right back into a dubbing loop. Finger over, wrap over, twice around, and then we have here is an OPST dubbing spinner. Okay, the weight on this is pretty good. It's going to be a little heavier than the majority that you'll see out there. If you have a dubbing twister that you use regularly, don't be afraid to give this one a shot, because as far as getting everything tight and spun in right, this is the best one I've found so far. So until I find a better one, this is what it's going to be. Okay, next thing is going to be our Arctic Fox. So we got this black Arctic Fox here. It's already cut off, but we got to strip out this under hair. So go ahead and grab the tips right here, and then you want to grab and just pull this out. Pull all that excess fuzzy material out of there, and discard it, because that's not going to help our fly to sink or with the movement. And so with this, I'm going to line this up to where it's just lining up with the start of my loop. Okay? So best thing to do is actually get a finger in here first, sink in, and give those couple quick spins just to make sure it's set in. Don't want it sliding down on you. You'll mess up all your prepping. Okay, so you just want to get this spread out, semi-even. So, and like I was saying before, if you want this to be a really nice finish, you want to cut this tag end here fairly close to your thread. If you want to be more sprung, you can leave a little bit more tag, but this we're going to do a good happy medium. Split it. Okay, so pinch here, and this is where this tool goes to work. So see how nice and easy that spins? It's almost like snapping your fingers. It's really super easy, and you can see it spins everything really nice, and it's tight, so you don't lose a whole lot of materials. So pick that out. I'm gonna go ahead and just wrap that back here. Nice.
And that was Arctic Fox?
This is just Arctic Fox.
So what is it about Arctic Fox that, like, why should people include it in their flies?
It just, Arctic Fox makes a great shoulder, and it can be used in a multitude of ways. A lot of people use, like, you could use guinea feathers as, for a shoulder or any kind of feather, but they're going to lay down a lot more than, say, your Arctic fox or your polar bear, or certain things of that nature. But, it's cheap, and it does the job well, and it's really easy to work with. And, and there's good Arctic fox and there's bad Arctic fox. And, finding quality materials is a super important deal. And so I'm going to move on from this step, and next thing I'm going to do is we're going to do some ice dubbing in a blue steely look. And this is a lot different than a lot of dubbings out there. It's not stuff that's really nice and easy and stays clumped together. This is really thin material. See, like that, and you see how it comes? It's it comes in strands like so. And so you can't tie it in like this. It's got to go in, in a horizontal fashion, but you got to get all this material right so it's nice and even. So I just pretty much take this, just stack it up, okay, to where it's all semi-even. Okay, so the next time we put our dubbing loop in here, it's going to be right in the middle, and we can spin that. It's going to shoot out again. So again, dubbing loop. Once you start to get really good at these loops, don't be afraid to try tying flies and see if you can put how many materials you can put in this loop and how far you can go under one. It's tough to manage them all, and not to mention you need a pretty large loop, but it is possible. So same thing like anything else, just put it right in the middle and then spread it out so it's fairly even. Okay, if you have some problem ones, just grab it with the lower or with the your left hand and then spread with the top hand. Okay, so pretty even there. Same thing, pinch, snap it, wait, and then there we go. See how all bunched up it is right here? all those materials are caught up. So just pick them out. Just like so. This is going to give us awesome movement. And you know, when I think of flies like this, you know, when I go down some of the rivers on the coast, you look in the water and you look at a lot of the boulders and you look at the, you look at the structure around. I always see these little blue plugs, these little itty bitty blue plugs, metallic blue plugs, and you know, they're not hanging off all these root wads and rocks for nothing. I mean, they work, and it's a great color, and the fish react to it. I don't know what it is, but it's just a great color. Okay, got that tied in. Just gonna make sure that's picked out right there. Okay. Next, another dubbing loop. This will be our last loop. And for this, we're just going to use our drabs here in the blue, black striped. And I've already got some cut, but see, really strong material. Holds up nicely. Got this chunk already cut out, set and ready to go. So for the majority of the time, you'll have to take this and you'll have to make sure all these tips are lined up in some way, shape, or form. But these are pretty close to good. So we're gonna go with this. Okay, this next step, I'm gonna line these feathers to the very end of this loop right here. See how that works there? Press it all the way up, a couple spins. So I already know that's the length I'm going to use. So all I need to do now is make sure we're spread and ready to go. Yeah, so sometimes these will get stuck together. Don't be afraid to use your needle tool to get these things spread out. You know, I have no fingernails after this this football season with the Seahawks, so this needle is going to come in handy. So I got spread out nice right there. Got a little bit of tag end, that way they're not going to pull out. Pinch, snap. Okay, and you see how this material is starting to get caught up in here? Come in here in a diagonal, okay, right next to your thread, and just pull it away. And then the rest of your material will start spinning more free again. But this is something you have to constantly keep up on, or you'll constantly be frustrated. Okay, so we're spun and ready to go. Go ahead and pull those back and start wrapping forward. Okay. Okay, we're in tight. We're getting there. Okay. So now that we've got this base in, I'm going to do a couple strands of black ostrich a little further back now. This will just give this some cool contrast and a little darker color. So we got a lot of blue going on right now. We got a lot. But that's good. We like blue. It's time to add a little bit of black. And so with these, we're not going to add a whole lot. I'm going to add, probably 6 strands. Okay. I'm going to do 3 per side. And you want these to go a little bit further than your ostrich. So if you guess where your hook is, whether it's going to be a 4, a 2, or a 1, depending on, you know, how big a fish you're going after. You know, you need to adjust accordingly, but just make sure that these materials right here, this ostrich, isn't going super far past your hook, or it's going to constantly get tangled. Okay, so just keep it right in line with the hook. So these first 3, go ahead and tie in on this side of your barbell. Try and keep them on the side too, okay? And then go ahead and spread these apart, okay? I like to do a 3 formation on the side of the flies here. So that I get them in ever so slightly, and then you want to just pull them. You want to find out who's top, who's middle, who's bottom, just like that, okay? That's what we're looking for, is this right here. And then as soon as you got that in, go ahead and crank those down so they set in place, okay? And that's side number 1. And you could do this with another dubbing loop, but I like this because I can place them exactly where I want them to be. Because, you know, when you do a dubbing loop, you can't always strategically, you know, put certain feathers in certain places. It just doesn't work that way. You know, it depends on the thickness of the head, or you know, whatever else. So we've got these other 3 lined up. Let's just match it up to this side. Yep, that looks about good. Again, probably 2 wraps, okay? 2 wraps will ensure you got some meat around it. I'm gonna twist around here, okay? Then make sure we are set and ready. Excellent. Okay, I got those where I want. So I got them where I want. I tighten down. Got those 3 in. Okay. So let's get these guys out of here. Gone. See ya. All right. 2 more steps. Okay. Now I'm going to put it in just a little more flash. That's going to go right along with these black ostrich feathers that we just threw in. Okay, they're going to go right alongside, 2 per side. Okay, and you want to just line them up. You can even go a little further back, because I'm not super worried about these, because these things whip and wisp around the current. They tend to not get tangled up near as easy as the ostrich would if it was further back. So get it set. Got 2 here. Grab them. Spread them apart. Tension down. Side 1. There they are right there. And this is just blue, excuse me. Comes in a ton of different colors, and you know, of all the flash out there, this is by far my favorite. It really sticks out in the water. You know, when I look at my king flies in the water with some of this stuff in, it's just it's crazy how much they can light up, and that's something I like to see, because sometimes when you're casting in, for example, tide water, where you got a lot of water to cover and you got fish moving really fast, you want to catch their attention, and this stuff has really done well for me. So again, tune the side, go ahead and line it up to where you want it. So it's going to be about right there. 2 wraps. 1 high, 1 low. Go ahead and cinch. Last step. This is to give us a black look up front here. And this is just black anadromous brush. There's a slight, ever so slight hint of purple in here. It's not going to hurt. Looks mighty fine in the water, so go ahead. Oop, didn't crimp that in hard enough. So go ahead and crank that in. It's being a little dainty on the wraps. So I'm destroying the front. There we go. So, just like any other material, go ahead and start pulling all this back. Some of this stuff, some of this anadromous brush that you'll buy or that you'll find is going to seem a lot thicker than other stuff. This black and purple, very thick. Okay. Come around here. Open over. So it's going to look messy right at the first, and that's okay because it's not going to matter. We still have to pick all this out. Snip this excess here. And go ahead and grab your tool and go ahead and start picking this. Pull this out here. Go ahead and give it a whip finish here. And again, just to make sure all my materials are in, set, and ready. Don't do this if you have a trailing hook already on there, or you're going to be really sorry. So grab here, just pull, just get all your material moving forward. Okay. I mean, said run this through the ringer. So I've just whip finished this fly, and so I'm going to pick it out here and just get all these loose materials out. And you know, one thing we want to do before this fly hits the water is make sure, give it a little bit of opposition, okay? Meaning we're going to run our hand the opposite way of the current, okay? And what that's going to do is that's going to really pull on all these materials, okay? And if we sunk our thread down and wrapped tight enough and properly, all these materials should hold true, okay? So we're going to be just fine.
You done?
Yep, I'm done. This.
All right.
So this right here is going to be the finished product. We have a darker head, which gives us our full black and blue feel. Not a huge fly. When this thing gets in the water, you're going to see this thing, which with every mend, every strip, just flare out and pop and drop. With every strip or every mend, whatever you do. And this right here, this material, this will actually suck up water really good. This isn't gonna, this material looks like it'll float really easy, but say with the right amount of water, just slap it on the water a couple times, it's gonna sink really nice, especially with these barbell eyes. And this would be my perfect size steelhead fly. Not too big, not too small, but just right. Yeah, hope you enjoyed it. Super easy pattern. And we'll see what we come up with next. Brilliant. You rolling video?
Mm-hmm.
delicious.
There, I kept the Aussie down to a minimum. There, brew. Listen here, there, big fella.
That's South Africa.
Yeah, that is South Africa. I get it mixed up.
DiCaprio and fucking Blood Diamond.
Do you got a cigarette?
Hey, bro.
Jesus Christ! I need to smoke. Listen here, brew. I got blisters on my fingers. Okay. Oh, baby.